What is up, YouTube? Anonymous Mentor again. Today we'll be going over another C++ program that we'll be making. And pretty much what we're going to be doing is if your program gets too big, or if you want to learn how to compile multiple programs or multiple .cpp files together, or header files into your programs that you can call functions onto. That's what we'll be going over today. So basically, go to whatever file, or directory, whatever directory you want to make your project in. I made a directory called YouTube, and xtum or tumx tux mtux tmux. There we go. I always forget the name of this. It's called tmux. If you guys want to download it, it's pretty cool because you can split your screen up while you're programming and everything, so it comes into handy. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm splitting my screen up now, you can see, and I have my screen split into 3 sections, so we're ready to get rolling. I'll be using the top 2, or the 2 on the right, to do all my programming. So let's go ahead and sudo nano a main or we'll make a header first. We'll call it add.h. It always ends in a .h for the header files. And go ahead and include. You don't even really need to include IOStream, but it's just such habit for me. Include IOStream there. You don't have to. And then we're gonna go ahead and make a function. So let's go ahead and int, and we'll call our function add. Call it int because it's gonna return a variable. And then we'll have an integer x and an integer y passed through as the parameters. And then we'll need a return of x plus y, and then a colon to separate it. And then go ahead and save that, Control O. And go over down to your next file, sudo nano main.cpp, and then you'll get prompted for password again. Keep in mind that IOStream. Keep in mind that C++'s syntax is very different. It doesn't rely on white space, which means like tabs and spaces. It doesn't matter if you space stuff out or if you cramp stuff together, it still reads the same, with very minor exceptions of where you're putting it. So it's pretty free in that sense. So keep that in mind while you're programming. I always try your best to program pretty, as I like to call it, as in making your syntax look really good, because if you move to like Python or JavaScript where it's important to have white space, then you'll be better off. So I'm just used to it. So now to include our header file, we need to use the hash symbol, include, and use a double quote and then your file name, which we named it add.h, and that should include it. And then we'll go ahead and say using namespace std, so we can use the cout and cin command, and we'll go ahead and start our main function, and we will do a cout, and then we'll call our function add, and then we'll pass, as you can see, we have x and y as a parameter. We'll pass through 20 and 18 to that parameter, so it'll be 20 plus 18, and then we'll go ahead and, if everything looks good, it looks good to me, we'll go ahead and save that, and then we'll switch over here, list it. We have add.main and main.cpp, and we'll use G++ and then our file names, so main.cpp and add.h, and my tab button got stuck, and we'll use -o, and then whatever we want to name the file, or the program itself, we'll name it test, and you gotta run that as sudo, and I'm getting an error here, don't mind that, so we'll sudo, and then we'll enter in our password, and that seems to have worked. Gosh, I can't type. As you can see, our test file was made, so let's go ahead and do a /test, and it says 38, which is 20 plus 18 equals 38, and let's go ahead and do a cout end-l. After you run your program, you can kind of make it more pretty if you want, and you can also do what I taught you in the last video is value for x, and you can say int a, and then you can do sin a, and then you can do cout value for y, and int y sin y. We'll do b. It doesn't really matter. Int b, and we'll do sin b, and we will pass through a and b as the input instead of this way. It'll give a little bit more freedom to it, and we'll actually make we'll define a go-to here, so we'll define an a, and then at the end we'll say go to a, which will make the program loop back around, and then we'll make a return 0, and we'll say, oh, that's a little too advanced, we'll get into that later. So there we go. Now let's run our command again to compile. It's G++, and the file names after sudo. I don't know what is up with this. Sudo G++. Okay. Yeah, that was all messed up. So it shows G++ up there. Sudo G++, and then it compiles, and we'll run it again. We'll type in our value for x, 10, value for y, we'll say 70, and it says it's 80, and it loops back around. And in the next video we'll talk about, we'll probably be talking about for loops and while loops and stuff like that, and like right now in this program we could have said, we could have programmed it to say if the user value equaled exit to continue on and run into the return 0, which would have closed the program, but we'll get into that a little bit later. This has been Anonymous Mentor with the second C++ video. I hope you're learning something, because I am. and I'll see you guys in my next video.